And this first chapter I'm going to be speaking to you on is on religion and humanity, or religion versus humanity, which is the title of the 5th chapter. Now, let's talk about religion for a moment. Religion generates commitment and passion in people. However, this can be a double-edged sword, or a never-ending dance. It has moved countless individuals to lead more spiritual and ethical lives. It has brought feelings of peace and security. It has enhanced connections to the universe and the inner self. It has motivated billions to act in a more loving way towards others, and it has motivated others to commit genocide against their own people or other forms of life or other peoples. And we know that part of world history. Many of you don't realize so much that genocide is not just an act against humans. It's an act against other forms of life. And there's only certain parts of humanity that is responsible, initially, causally, and directly, for the destructions that have been happening to our planet. And we're all responsible for it. Don't leave it to somebody else. It has inspired many to devote their lives to helping others. Speaking about religion. It has also inspired some to focus solely on material wealth for themselves. And you know those people are out there. You might be you. It might be your sister, your brother, someone in your own family, someone like your mother or father. It could be. Or just some friend of yours or someone else that's out there. Motivation for only self. Motivation for only self leads to self-destruction. Motivation for an action for all, including yourself, will support you and support others. Which way are you turning? I wonder. Now, I mentioned about hatred a moment ago. In a way, I mentioned about hatred. Now, let's talk about it a little bit here. Now, hatred based partially in the so-called organized religions. There is a lot of prejudice expressed through many forms of Christianity and Islam and some other philosophies. We must take out the bad and only use the good. Hopefully you don't have that prejudice against certain other religions, or prejudice against other people, or prejudice against certain other forms of life, which is basically everything else besides you. We're all here together. We're all here together with things we have to do to make sure our world lasts, make sure we last. The world can live without us. We can't live without it. Nature has proven that over and over and over and over and over again with all forms of life. We'll adapt to the changes, those that are damaging to the general population will be exterminated, and that's unpreventable. That's only a factor in fact of existence. Now, you should also listen to this part here. I better not go too far off the subject, but everything relates. Religions have arranged horrendous crimes affecting billions of people over the centuries, and countless forms of life. A few faiths have no direct relationship to the cause of willful destruction of life. Buddhism, Toltec, Yoga, Iroba, and many other forms of spirituality, especially those that you know of among the native peoples of the Americas, besides the Toltec, and those of Australia, the native peoples of Australia. Not speaking about the Christians and Catholics, because, again, Christians and Catholics, I put it in the same field as Christian, and Islam. Those particular philosophies have been the main culprits and base of responsibility for the cause of the damages done to this planet over the past 300 or more years. The ozone depletion, the people that believe in the industrialization had a manifest destiny mentality. The people that believed in the destruction and murder and crucifixion, etc., of the native peoples of the Americas and Africa, they had the belief in supremacy. That is permeated throughout many of the so-called popular religions. Not to say that they're all bad. There are good things within each philosophy, and there are bad things within some. We must take out the bad, only use the good. These philosophies can be used in key against the negatives that have been done by themselves. Okay? Please observe your world and look at what's going on. Look at what your own people are doing. The eternal and the revelation of the eternal are attempts to be associated with it. Excuse me there. In virtually all forms of prayer, this is the truth. Prayers are expressions of love and faith. Prayer must not be limited in perspective to praying, reciting, or chanting while sitting in a room or building. It extends to the definition of the founding acts of dance in accord with existing myth. Dance is the faith of response and connection to rhythm and harmony. Again, those of you that don't have note paper, I suggest you go and get that now, because there's quite a few things I think you might want to repeat. Dance is the faith of response and connection to rhythm and harmony. We all know this when we dance. As a matter of fact, what peoples of the world have the best natural rhythm? And I think you know the answer. That there's not just one of those, although there's one that has probably the most is most in tune with rhythm. And I don't want to blow some horns or so, but obviously it's the African. Next in line there, those of the Americas, and next in line some many other peoples. Okay, so let's move on. A myth is a metaphor of a story told from a religion, or of storytelling about existence. A myth is not a lie. Again, a myth is not a lie. Prayers and dances are only a part of the dress of spiritual expression. Please remember that praying in a building is not the only way that prayer is done. Prayer inside someone's home is not the only way something is done. Dance is also a spiritual prayer, in a sense. Many peoples around the world have different forms and different ways of doing it. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is so wrong, and nothing is so perfect. Prayer is actually one of the natural evolutionary aspects of our development. We have certain abilities that humans have developed over the eons as part of our natural development, and prayer is a part of that natural development. And I'm going to go into that a little later on in chapter 8. Right now I'm still on chapter 5, and I'm going to be moving very quickly, so be advised right now that I'm not giving you everything in the book. Just a reminder, I'm only giving you bits and pieces, and I'm picking up certain pages to read to you information. And there's a lot of things out that we have been misled about. So I've tried to clear it up for you, and also lead you to the information so you can clear it up yourselves.